So I signed with him. I worked in Virginia for about a year writing songs, and then got shipped out to LA in a 26-foot Penske truck with all the things.
I'm Adam, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And this podcast is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the couple new songs you put out, and you have a record coming out right next month.
Yes, March
Awesome.
11th, Sugar High.
Very, very cool. Awesome. So, well, where are you based out of right now? Are you in LA?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles.
Are you from there originally?
No, I'm actually from Virginia originally.
Okay. The Virginia or West Virginia?
The Virginia. I mean, my family is like from the western part, but you know,
okay,
I can still sing the song.
Right on. What was it like growing up in Virginia?
It was interesting. It's a very like family oriented town. I mean, I lived in Virginia Beach, so I always had a beach next to me, and now I continue to have to be next to the beach because it just feels more like home.
Sure.
Except to have palm trees now, which is nice.
Yeah, the East Coast is a bit different. I grew up in San Diego, so I grew up on the same Pacific Ocean that you're on. But it's interesting going to like the East Coast and Atlantic Ocean, how different it is.
Yeah, especially it's colder out here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I remember going to Hilton Head, like South Carolina, and it was like 80 in the water. I'm like, whoa, this is like a bathtub. You go to San Diego, it's the middle of summer and it's still like 40 degrees in the water. It's freezing all the time. So, well, tell me about growing up there.
I miss.
Yeah. Oh, the warm water.
Yes.
Did you go to the beach quite often?
Yes. I mean, only in the summer because that's the only time to go because it gets cold otherwise.
Sure. What about now when you're in LA?
Yeah, I love going to the beach, except I don't go in the water at all.
I wouldn't either. Not in that Pacific Ocean. I think it's gnarly. So cool. So how did you get into music?
I started I played violin in like 5th grade, and then I wanted an electric guitar in 6th grade, and so I started, playing electric guitar. And then there was a beauty pageant that my mom signed me up for unwillingly, and I needed a talent. And at the time I was playing guitar, and I thought, I can't really like just get up there and play guitar because I wasn't that skilled, And my dad was like, why don't you just sing and play guitar? And I was like, you're crazy, Dad. Like, I can't sing. And then lo and behold, I did it, and I never looked back since.
Wow. Did you do a cover, I would imagine? Yes,
I did Jewel, You Were Meant for Me.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And Jewel is a San Diegan, or I think she wrote that whole record in San Diego.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But anyway, so you did a Jewel song. You started playing electric. Why electric guitar? Was there a reason behind that instead of like an acoustic? I mean,
I loved, like No Doubt and stuff like that. So.
Okay. That drew you to the guitar?
Yes.
Very cool. And were your parents musical at all?
No, actually my dad only like screamed to Aerosmith and Van Halen.
Okay. No instruments other than that, the electric guitar in the house?
No instrument. I mean, we had like an organ, and like nobody really played it.
Mm-hmm. Was it just because of No Doubt? Like, what drew you to wanting to play guitar? Was it No Doubt or those bands that you were listening to at the time?
I think I was just listening to like lots of rock music, and like I just, for some reason, I wanted to play electric guitar. So
there you have it. All right. Yeah. So you do the Jewel song, and then from there, what happens? Do you keep doing covers, or when do you start writing music? I know you've written for a bunch of artists.
I started, like doing covers. I started, just like playing out in places wherever I could play. And basically,
how old are you when you were playing out?
I mean, like when I was like 17 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like I had to play in like coffee shops and things like that, and like places that people would let me.
Right. Would you just show up and ask to play, or did you have like a demo? Like, how are you?
I mean, I tried to go out and like, like get my name out there and play places. So.
Mm-hmm. Were you? And these are all cover songs, or were you writing originals at this point?
I started writing originals a little bit. They were really, really, really bad. I think somebody has copies of them somewhere as, blackmail, but
So were you like doing like singer-songwriter things, or were you still playing electric guitar?
I was playing electric guitar, and at the time I even got, one of those MIDI keyboards, and I was like trying to make some beats at that point.
Oh, really? I know
Yeah.
you have production chops. I mean, you produced on like you know, a platinum record, right?
I mean, that's where it starts. You just start from, getting a, little MIDI keyboard and just trying what you can do.
Were you just trying to like, were you interested in production and or was it just like, I want to use this as a tool to kind of enhance the songs I'm writing?
I think I kind of, as a female, I think it's hard because like guys get together and they jam together and stuff like that. And I don't feel like there's a lot of that for females. And so
Mhm.
I think I realized I was like, okay, like I want to write my own stuff. And then I wanted to like try to write whatever I wanted to write, and I didn't want anything to stop me. So
Mhm. I find that interesting that yeah, like it's such a different dynamic with women in the music industry when it comes to like producing. Because any guy that has a MacBook in like GarageBand thinks that they can just put producer after their name. It's like, yeah, let's be real. But like, I feel like if like if a woman or somebody does it, I don't think they get the same respect. It's interesting to me. I
yeah,
don't know, did you see that in the industry at all?
I mean, it's really, really hard as a female because I feel like you have to work a lot harder to prove yourself than a guy. Like a guy instantly walks into a room and they instantly think, okay, like this guy knows what he's doing, but a female, like they're like, oh, okay, you're pretty. Like, let's see if you can sing. Okay, cool. But like, it's almost that like they don't believe that you can do all the other things
Right.
other
You have
than
to
just like be pretty and have a voice.
Yeah, you've got to show, yeah, exactly. Prove yourself a bit more, which is, I don't know, to me, that's pretty ridiculous. But like I said, anyone that has a MacBook can just say, oh, I'm a producer now.
Well, I
So,
have a MacBook now, so watch out.
so do I. And I wouldn't call myself a producer by any
You are a
means.
producer. You produce a show.
Okay. Well, I don't produce music. I guess that's where I was going with this whole thing.
I
But anyway,
suppose you can. You
I mean, I
can.
have
You're a
GarageBand. I
man
could
and
just
you have a MacBook.
I have GarageBand. I could just put a loop on, and all of a sudden, I should be selling beats.
There you
Um,
go.
well, so I'm curious on how you got from Virginia to now you're in LA. But like, did you go to college for music? Like, what from the 17-year-old you writing these songs and playing with them, MIDI keyboard and doing every coffee shop? Like, what was the next step for you?
I went to Berklee College of Music.
Oh, you did.
Yes. I only went there for 2.5 years. I
Mhm.
was doing music business and voice. And then I realized that just sitting in a classroom and getting graded on my voice performance wasn't going to necessarily get me anywhere in the world. So I
Mhm.
figured I would drop that and, try to play live and see if I get lemons thrown at me, tomatoes thrown at me. If that didn't happen, then I'm good.
Okay.
And then I continued with a music business degree, and I basically like figured out a way to take online classes and get out of there ASAP because it was cold.
So you ended up graduating from Berkeley, but just not
Yes.
actually being at the school.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. And you went for voice and music business. Did you have to
Yes.
audition to get into the school?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't. Well, I just talked to somebody earlier today that it's always a different experience when it comes to Berkeley. I feel like some people
Yeah.
have to audition, they'll have to like sight reading on the spot or present them some piece of music, or it's just like, oh, they just let me in. Like I didn't have to do anything. So yeah, I was just interested to see how you went about it, but I guess you don't remember. So
Yeah. I
you,
think
you
they've upgraded now that you have to audition, things like that, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure.
Okay. And were you learning how to produce there as well?
No.
Okay. So when did that all come about? You started playing live, you wanted to see if someone's gonna throw lemons at you or whatever, and then do you move to LA? Or like what's your next move?
So from there, after the 2.5 years, I went back home to Virginia Beach,
Okay.
and I sort of was, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. I thought about doing studying entertainment law and being like a lawyer because I had a music business degree.
Mhm.
And at the time I was still writing music, and I had met a friend of a friend that was producing music and recording, and he had a studio. And so I went and I recorded 3 songs with him. And he actually was an assistant to Serban Genya, who is a mixer, and he lives in Virginia Beach, and he mixes like Kelly Clarkson, Taylor Swift, like
Oh, wow.
just every big pop name in, you know, the world. He lives in Virginia Beach, and he
Just mixes their
basically,
albums?
yes, it's pretty cool. And basically he heard my songs that I was writing, and he was like, hey, do you want to sign a publishing deal? And at the time I didn't think of myself as like a songwriter writing for other people. You know, I just kind of like thought I was just going to write for myself and try the artist route, or go into the kind of thought, hey, like this is one of those things that you just like take an opportunity in life, and you can always go back to entertainment law, but like this is a
Mhm.
once in a lifetime chance. So I signed with him. I worked in Virginia for about a year writing songs, and then got shipped out to LA in a 26-foot Penske truck with all the things. And I've been here since.
Wow. When you signed that deal, I'm curious because I've never actually asked anyone about this. Like, when you sign a publishing deal, are you like, how does it work as far as like are you being paid by this person as like a salaried job, and you're writing songs in hopes that one of them get picked up? Or is it like, okay, I'm going to sign you, and then if something happens, then we will like rise together?
It's sort of both, because you get signed, but you get an advance, and the advance
Ah,
depends on how cool you are and how much clout you have. And I had 0, so
okay.
I had a little bit of both worlds, you know.
So then, yeah, you might get a little bit of money up front, and then if every record obviously you write or gets picked up by an artist, then that's where you can kind of start making a little bit of money that way.
Yeah,
Ah, interesting. Okay, I wasn't sure how that worked. So you
yeah.
get to LA and you're writing songs for people. What was the first cut that you got? And tell me about that experience.
Well, I did some of the production stuff I did before I got to LA.
Okay.
The Jason Derulo and the Kelly Clarkson, and then like,
And because you were working with this mixer, you got a chance to work with them,
yes.
or like, how did that work?
He got the song, and everybody was like, it's there, but it's not completely there. And so me and this other writer that was signed to him, we started trying to add production, and they liked it. So
That's really
I
cool.
never met Jason Derulo, never met Kelly Clarkson. Like,
But to have a credit on their album, I mean, that's
yeah,
incredible.
maybe they'll see me one day.
Well, with that, like, how were you learning to do production? Was that something you were just picking up along the way?
I sort of learning the music theory in school. You can kind of see it on the piano. Like, it's the best way to see it. I don't know if you know anything about music theory, but like,
A
if you
little
just
bit.
look at all the white keys, that's your C major scale or your A minor, you know, and
Right.
that just helped me see everything. And then like I knew how to put chords together. So I would just start, you know, figuring things out from there.
Oh, amazing. And then obviously they landed at, what was that moment like, being like, whoa, they actually chose my production for this song or that song?
It was crazy because, I mean, the Jason Derulo one, I can hear the things that I actually did. And I
Wow.
remember I was like out somewhere and it came on, and I was just like, what? Like, that's me. That's me. But no one understood. You know, I'm like, you hear that? Like, you know, that's me.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow. And then, I mean, to get the record with your name on it and everything else, I mean, I'm sure that was a huge accomplishment.
Yes, it was amazing.
And so doing that took you to Los Angeles, I would imagine.
Yes.
And then when you get to LA, what's next?
I was just writing, trying to, you know, connect with as many people as possible, figure out what I'm doing in this crazy city.
Mhm.
And then I think around Christmas, everybody went home and I sort of just stuck around. I think I waited too long to get plane tickets and they were just way too expensive at that point. So I figured, hey, I'll just go home, another month. And during that time, I actually wrote a bunch of songs with Freddie Wexler and we ended up getting a Selena cut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And was
So
that
stay home and grind on Christmas.
so you ended up getting a song and you did backing vocals with her on her record?
Yes, but I never met her.
But still, your voice is on the album now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a level up.
Yeah. And it was crazy because then Serban mixed it. So,
All still in the family.
So everything just was rolling.
Yeah. Wow. And then you ended up writing for numerous other artists as I'm looking here at your stuff. And that's like, what was the next big, like, a moment for you?
I think the next big one was Jojo Siwa.
Oh, okay. And did you know, I mean, was like a YouTuber, right? Or she was on that show,
she was on Dance Moms.
Dance Moms. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then she had like a Nickelodeon show or something, or Disney Channel. I can't remember. She did a bunch of stuff,
I think she got signed to Nickelodeon from everything.
Okay. And then she had a record out.
Yes.
And that's like, when you wrote the song, did you know that was going to be pitched to her? Like, how did that work?
So that actually, I wrote in the studio with her.
Oh, really? So what was that like?
That was fun because at the time, she was really young, but she knew exactly what she wanted.
Okay. So she would kind of go tell you like an idea what she was thinking and you would help her structure the song?
Yeah. So she knew like she wanted to be a voice for younger kids.
Okay.
And I mean, that space at that time, I mean, I feel like even now, like that space was not something, because everybody wants to be cool and like edge up and, appeal to the older people. But, she embraced that whole younger generation that didn't have a role model.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And that's really, I remember when I used to live in San Diego, we had passes to Universal Studios, like season passes. My family and I would go there all the time. And my son saw her like walking through that like outside square area thing where there's like all the restaurants and stuff. And she's just like running around, jumping on stuff. Like her parents are filming her. Like she's just like made it like, hey, I'm here, like attention, not anything. And she's big, huge at this point. So it wasn't even like she was trying to be, candid about it. It was just like, hey, and like dancing. And she ended up taking a picture with my son and everything. It was really funny. I just was so surprised, like how in it she was, in the sense that like that she wanted people to come up and talk to her and everything, instead of like being like, in a hat and kind of looking down. She was like, hey, I'm here. I thought that it was really cool. So tell me when your artist project begins.
The MIZZI sort of started, I think like a couple years ago. I started writing for MIZZI and I didn't really know exactly what MIZZI was going to be. Like it sort of came up with the name during like a writing camp. That the first song that I wrote, it was a writing camp for Lyric House. And I was writing like sort of like a boss girl song, it's sort of like Beyonce meets like a rappy sort of song. And I didn't know what to call like whatever, was coming out. I was like, I don't know what this is. And my last name is Miley, and I can't go by Miley apparently because, somebody stole that.
Yeah.
It's not even related to her. Her name is Destiny Hope, but it's a whole nother thing. And then I'm a little bitter. It's okay.
I was gonna say, just kidding.
And then somebody in the writing session was like, "What about MIZZI?" And I was like, "That's kind of cool." And then I can like make it all caps, and I mean that was the birth of MIZZI.
And you knew these songs that you're writing were gonna be not for pitch. It was like, okay, I want to write these for myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that hard to like distinguish now? Like, do you still write for other people and then trying to kind of balance between what you're going to give your like put out as MIZZI versus something for somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of know who MIZZI is now, but at the time I didn't really. But you know, because I'm a songwriter, I feel like every day I get to put on different hats. You know, like I'm like, okay, this song today, like if I get put into a room with somebody, I'm like, okay, this is for this person, you know, and like I go in as like they're steering the ship and I let them, you know, tell me how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, if I'm writing as a pitch for somebody else, like I know that's not who I can be, you know?
Right, right. Oh, so you're not right. You usually know the prompt beforehand as far as like who you're going to write for. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to write for blah 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 today. It's not like you're just going to write a bunch of songs and then like submit them out to people as much anymore.
Uh, it depends, but
Oh,
more
okay.
I think like earlier in my career, that was more like, you know, I didn't know what I was writing every single time. But
Right.
I think now, you know, it's more of like if I get set up with a session, I know that this person is strong in this aspect, and so we should do a song like this, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And when do you start putting out songs as MIZZI, and what was that like? Like now you
I
have
mean,
your artist
it was
project and
I mean, it felt cool because it's you know, it's fun to write for other people, but at the same time, like you sort of feel like, hey, like what am I doing? Like I need a creative outlet for myself, you know.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What year did you put out your first record with MIZZI?
I think 2018, 19.
Okay. And then like were you performing out as MIZZI at this point or not yet?
No, I was just putting the songs out.
Okay. And then where did that land you come 2020 when the world shut down? Were you obviously probably not as many sessions were happening at this point? Did you have a lot of time to like focus on your artist project?
Yeah, actually, so I can do all my setup at home. Like I have recording gear, and at the time I was in Indiana where my parents are now. And so
Okay.
I was using my dad's walk-in closet as my studio.
Okay.
So now like when a song comes out, I'm like, hey dad, that was in your closet.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you were able to work, obviously. Were you in LA when it all started to happen, or were you in Indiana at the time?
I was actually in Nashville because
Oh,
I
that's where
was,
I'm at.
oh really? What part?
I'm south, like by Franklin.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
contemplating moving to Nashville and the tornado and then COVID hit.
Oh, yeah, and the bomb. I mean, you missed a
Yeah.
big. It was rough, and I moved right after that though. So I moved in February
Oh,
of
you missed all of that.
21. Yeah, I had all that had happened, and then so I've been here almost a year now. My family and I decided to move. We're like I said, we're in San Diego, and we moved here. We love it here. It's amazing.
Nice.
But yeah, it was rough for Nashville for like a while. I mean, it was like the
Yeah.
bomb and COVID and the tornado ripped up the East Nashville.
Yeah.
Are you here often to write?
I haven't been back since.
Oh, there you
It
go.
kind of, the tornado kind of scared me a little bit. That was my first time ever hearing tornado sirens. You know, I asked everybody, you know, is this okay? Is this something I should worry about? They're like, it's fine. It happens all the time. Wake up. The pizza place I was going to go to in East Nashville was completely destroyed.
Oh, wow. So you were here when that happened.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It was
And
crazy.
obviously you're safe.
Yes.
I interviewed somebody that's house got taken out. Like
Oh my
that's
gosh.
just
I can't
crazy.
imagine.
There's actually, speaking of which, it's there's supposed to be tornadoes today. They just let my kids out of school
Oh
like two
no.
hours early and everything because of it. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Wow.
It's like 70 degrees and lightning and thundering. So we'll see. And the winds have been like
I
pretty gnarly,
know.
but we're south enough where I think we'll knock on wood be all right. So, but it is
Yeah.
a thing. I'd never
Do you have a
experienced that before.
basement?
No, we have like under the stairs. So
Yeah.
I know we don't have the luxury of a basement, but we built this little thing. Well, we should be all right. But when we first moved
Yeah.
here, there was a tornado thing happening. We were staying in an apartment before our house is ready. And we're on the 3rd floor, and we had never experienced a tornado before. And we're like, what do we do? And we're like in the bathroom, in the bathtub, like with blankets and everything
Oh
else.
my
Like it was
gosh.
so scary. So yeah,
It's really scary.
yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to stay here, especially
But
after
hey,
being in
like
like a
there's
gnarly one, right?
yeah, but there's earthquakes here, I guess.
Yeah, but I lived in San Diego for 37 years, and between there and San Francisco, and I'd feel them, but it was never like, I don't know. I guess there's been bad ones, obviously San Francisco, LA, but not, I never had that like I'd experience it, but not to the capacity of like, oh my gosh, you know. People are
You
freaked
were
out by
here when
earthquakes.
the Northridge one happened?
Hmm. Not in LA though, so I was in San
Yeah.
Diego, but I remember that one. I mean, obviously there's been horrid earthquakes in California, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like tornadoes are so often that it's like a totally different thing. I mean, you can't
You should
predict an earthquake, but
you should sign up for the tweet notifications on
oh,
the
I do. I
Nashville.
have that.
Yeah.
I have
That's what I did
that.
immediately after that. I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna be. Like, I gotta be prepared for this.
No, somebody told me about that. That's how I found out about it. I'm like, wait, what do you do? They're like, oh, follow this. It's good. Tweet it out. I'm like, okay, perfect. And I found this guy on YouTube. Or actually, my wife found him. His name is Ryan Hall, y'all. And he's like got this insane setup of like all these computers and all this weather tracking equipment. And he's in Georgia, and he follows all these storms, and he's like on it, like live whenever there's something like this happening. And he's like telling people like, all right, Nashville, you can go to sleep now. It's gonna pass up here. Like he's on it. It's pretty. So he's very good source, because we got here. I'm like, we don't have TV. Like
Yeah.
where are we gonna figure out like local stuff that's happening? So we found this guy, and then obviously the Twitter thing was helpful for sure. But let's talk about your record, the new record. So when did you start writing this? Was it after moving away from Nashville and COVID and all that?
I think some of the songs have been in the works since, I've been writing for MIZZI. They just haven't come out because I felt like I wanted to have, a big debut album to come out with these songs. And I mean, I think a lot of them were written when COVID hit as
Okay.
well. I think there's like 18 songs on there.
Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
record. So, and you've also got a lot of songs. Some of those songs got some major syncs and big television shows, and those are MIZZI songs, right?
Yes. I
What
just
was that?
had a most recent one. I got a song on the Super Bowl commercial.
Did
It
you
was
really?
amazing. Yes.
Which one? That's awesome.
The
Congratulations.
promo, thank you. It was the promo for the end game.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What was that like, watching the Super Bowl and seeing that?
It was so surreal.
That is awesome.
It happened around like the 2-minute warning, and I was starting to think, I was like, did they forget about my song? Like, what's going on? Like, I haven't heard it. Did I miss it? Was I in the bathroom? And then all of a sudden it just like hit.
And what a time too. You got like a prime time on that.
Yes.
Because the game was so close, and then LA's coming back, and like people are glued to the screen at this point. Wow. I saw that they spent $7 million on a 30-second commercial for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
That just blew my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But wow, to have but how many eyes and ears are on that? That's amazing that
So
happened.
many.
Do you have a copy of the commercial?
Yeah, I put it on my Instagram, but I can send it over to you guys.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So tell me about, so the record's coming out on March 11th, and are you going to do any sort of live shows to support it?
I've been thinking about it, but I'm not sure like where COVID is all the time, every time I think that we're coming out of it, it goes back.
Right. Yeah. I just saw a couple other artists just canceled shows coming up. I'm like, really? Like, I thought this, like, it's just so crazy. It's like never ending.
Yeah. And the Grammys were moved from LA. Now they're in Vegas.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Did that really? Is that new news? I guess I need to be up on that, but that is big. I mean, to move it out of LA.
Yeah.
Which is surprising since they had the Super Bowl there.
I know, like you would think it'd be okay, but I think they decided, because they were talking about moving the Super Bowl. So I think they decided before they actually had the Super Bowl.
Oh, that they're going to move it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, cool. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. I have one more quick question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I think just believe in yourself and, you know, do everything you can to put yourself out there and to, you know, just get the knowledge and try things and try to write by yourself, you know, and connect with people. And I think that's the best thing to do.